Hey everybody, I'm Ashley Aurora, and today I am creating this video to support you in freeing yourself from spells, curses, or arrows, or projections. And I'm largely using the guidance of this book that I have. It is an interpretation of the I Ching. It is not the I Ching itself. It is written by Carol Anthony and Hannah Moog, and it's by far one of the best deprogramming books that I have ever come across. And in this book, they talk a lot about spells, about projections and curses and arrows. And I'm going to be reading a little bit from this book to give you a little bit of a background. And then I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process that this book instructs on how to free yourself from these things, which I feel is probably one of the most important things that we can do. A lot of the times we are walking around with all these imprints or spells or curses that we somewhere along the way absorbed on some level of consciousness allowed. And so if you have been experiencing extreme turmoil, if you keep finding yourself back in the same situation, if you have been having like a lot of mysterious kind of just crazy events going on, accidents, things like this, just relationship after relationship that just feels like you're being targeted or harassed, anything like that, I think it's really important to look at these things. We're moving out of a place of blame and we're moving into a place of self-responsibility, but we're also acknowledging that we live in a co-creative world. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple things to you. So one of the things that I love about this book is that it identifies that there is a cosmic harmony and that there are cosmic principles and that there are even cosmic helpers. But it doesn't go through ideologies or dogmas about what these cosmic helpers, what their names are, what they look like, but just recognizing this innate harmony that is present and existing in all of life, okay? Another thing that I really appreciate about this book is it's all about our inner authority. It's not about externalizing and seeking something outside of us to reclaim our power, but it's all about working with our own inner master, our own inner sage, to do this work, to reclaim our power, and to learn how to trust that inner sage, that inner gnosis, that inner guidance, okay? So one of the things that this book talks about is the inner know, and I really, really love this. And think about like when you really, really come into a place of power and you start to say no, and it comes from this resounding place within, okay? It's not this timid no, it's this no. Feel that, no, no. Comes like right down from the solar plexus, from our power, okay? And so what they write is that the inner no is a cosmic principle and thus has a cosmic function. Its function is to transform a discordant situation from within, thereby taking care of a problem in the atomic realm or the realm of consciousness. Saying the inner no is the correct way of decreasing all active aspects of the collective and individual egos, either within oneself or in others. The inner no does this by deprogramming the individual phrases and images that make up the ego and that also give rise to ego emotions. Deprogramming deletes a yes to mistaken ideas and beliefs you have formerly accepted, either consciously or unconsciously. The inner no is said to each of the ego's phrases and images as they are brought into your consciousness, usually with the help of the inner sage. The inner no is also the means by which projections, spells, poison arrows are extinguished in the psyche. Okay, so that's the basis of this inner no. It's really fun to start to embrace that, okay? So in the back of this book, they have offerings of how to deprogram more fully. And I feel that this is applicable to anything from cultural indoctrination, even to things like trauma-based programming. Now, of course, when we're talking about trauma-based programming, it gets a little bit deeper in its complexity. However, We can start here. Okay, we have these tools of empowerment and now we need to apply them. Okay. So I'm just going to share with you. So they consider projections consists of imps or demons that are projected into a person's psyche through negative thoughts or spoken words. The person can also put them on himself. Okay? Spells can consist of a single word that has no cosmic basis or of one or more phrases. Self-images can also be spells. A spell is always accompanied by ego emotions. Spells have the effect of fixing a person or parts of his personality through words or phrases. The consequences can be compulsive or other neurotic patterns of behavior that prevent a person from developing his uniqueness. Spells can also create a fate for that person in the form of illness that can even lead to his death. Poison arrows are thoughts projected into the psyche and body of oneself or another that create a poisonous reaction in his body. They are felt immediately in the body, either as a sharp pain, as a crick in the back, or a sting in the heart. Some poison arrows date from years back, even from the time in utero. When not removed, they always cause physical illness. Okay. So, if you're interested in helping yourself to clear, and I want to encourage you to minimize your ego, to put it aside for a moment. Oftentimes what I have learned is that the ego believes that to rid ourselves, to dissolve these spells, these projections, these arrows, curses, whatever, that it needs some really, really fancy, extravagant ceremony. And it needs the help of like the most highest legions of light. And I find that to be a fallacy, to be trickery, and to be another example of the collective consciousness convincing us that we're not powerful. So this is the deprogramming procedure. It's quite simple. I encourage you, as this book encouraged, to do this for a minimum of 3 days. I have done it, used it for specific things for a minimum of 7 days. And they say oftentimes you'll find that people do need additional days. So I invite you all to allow yourself to be very comfortable, to move into a place of awareness of your breath. You can bring your awareness to your belly and watch the rise of the fall of the belly. And just become aware of your breath. Allow yourself to settle into center of your belly. And silently or out loud, call forth your inner master, your inner sage, your highest essence, your highest wisdom, to be anchored fully within your heart. And ask this part of you for support in freeing you from all projections and spells, curses, or arrows. Now you can ask yourself, who is the originator? This could be yourself or another person who put on this arrow or spell or curse. But ask them to come forward, to be able to identify them. You can also ask, at what age did this occur? Allow this to arise organically. Now moving on to step 2, you're going to identify the words, the phrases, the images that have formed the projections, the spells, the curses, or the arrows. Ask them to come forward. What words, what images, words, or phrases come to mind that make up these spells or these arrows or curses. You can also ask your inner sage, your inner master, to bring more details about the situation that is important for you to become aware of. If it's helpful, you can even write these down. Now, centered in your inner authority, imagine that person and imagine the spells or the phrases, the words, the ideas, the images that they were casting upon you. Imagine them and say no, no, no. Imagine saying no to these. No, 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 for having caused this trauma or have put this spell, this projection, this arrow or curse on me. You're saying the inner no from your place of inner authority. Really feel it. And now, you're going to say the inner no to yourself, to the part of you that accepted it, that absorbed it. So you're going to imagine saying that to that part of you. No, no, no. So then you're going to say the inner no, 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 to the phrases, to the words, to the images that came to your mind. You're going to start saying no to them. No. You're going to imagine them being wiped, cleared from your psyche. You can imagine any way you want, but just dissolved out of your psyche. They're not yours to own. Saying no, you're claiming your boundaries. No. If a lot of phrases or words or images come up, keep saying no to them and imagine them being released, wiped out of your psyche, dissolved away, back to source. It's not yours to own. Now you can go back within and make contact with your inner sage, with your inner master, with your highest essence. And you can ask if there's anything else that you need to do to free you from these spells or arrows, projections or curses. And then you can ask your inner essence, your inner sage, your inner master, how many days that you need to do this for. It should not be completed more than once per day. But with that, how many days does this need for completion? And when you feel complete, you can give thanks to the master that resides within you, that is you, for supporting you and helping you. We're going to take this one step further, something that I do every day. So you can ask your highest essence to release from you throughout all dimensions, timelines, any unloving, harmful energies, thoughts or emotions that have been sent to you, that you have absorbed, to send them back to either the highest essence of the sender or just to source itself. And now you can ask the highest essence that you are to return all unloving energies, thoughts, or emotions, projections that you have sent to an other, and to be transmuted, to be dissolved in the heart of your highest essence. And once again, you can give great thanks to the master that resides within you, that is you. And to the cosmic harmony, the love that supports you in disentangling yourself from trickery, from the pathology of the collective consciousness and your own ego. I hope that this was of service to you today, and I love you.